Ms. Dillon, you are suing your neighbors, Ms. Demerin and Mr. Cadet, for the cost of removing tree branches that were cut by the defendants and left on your property. You were nervous about confronting the defendants. You had never met them before. You didn't know how they would react. So you went to the police department, filed a complaint, and the police told you there's nothing they can do about it. It's a civil matter. You felt like you had no recourse. That's why you're suing the defendants for $5,000. Ms. Demerin and Mr. Cadet, you had to cut down the trees because you felt they were a danger to your house. In fact, before cutting down the trees, you went to receive permission from the person you thought was your neighbor. You'd actually never met Ms. Dillon before. You intended to remove the trees yourself. And before you can do that, you found you were sued. You say you don't owe her anything. Now, Ms. Dillon, why don't you tell us, how long had you been living at your place?
Well, I purchased the house July of 2023.
Had you, Mr. Cadet, Ms. Demerin, ever seen Ms. Dillon before today?
No.
So you were not staying there very often?
No. Now, January 23rd, 24th, 25th, somewhere around that time, I noticed. We came from church, and I am looking straight down, and I see bushes, and I'm saying, what is the bushes there for? So I went there and noticed that the tree was chopped off from their property, leaning over the fence into my yard. There were also two more. One of the codes said it was too skinny tree, so apparently they came over because those two trees were more into my property rather than the big tree that was on their property.
Let's start with you, Ms. Demerin.
Yes,
Why don't you tell us about cutting down the trees? What caused you to cut the trees down?
We realized that the tree bent so much to the plaintiff backyard, and then it was a bad weather. It was so snowing very heavily, and then we afraid that the whole tree fell and caused damage. And then I asked my husband, we have to do something, just to make sure to prevent problems.
Okay. Now, Mr. Cadet, you were actually the one who cut the branches?
Yes.
Now, did you realize when cutting the branches that they would fall on your neighbor's property?
Yes.
We were there. Yeah. We were on the backyard,
Yeah.
What do you mean you were on
that?
That
means we don't cut it from my backyard.
So you went into her backyard?
Yeah, because
to
we
cut.
asked someone permission to go.
Before going into her backyard, did you go to her front door, knock on the door?
Like, we knocked the door. Someone gave me the permission to go in there to cut it because we tried to prevent to fall down.
And tell me about that conversation that you had with the person who gave you permission to cut those trees down.
Yes.
What did the person look like?
Asian guy.
Asian.
Ms. Dillon, did you have an Asian guy living there?
I had a guest there. He's from Taiwan, doesn't speak much English. Anything that happens there while he's there, he would text me. I did not receive a text from him stating that he gave them permission because he would not have done that.
You think they're making up having met an Asian guy there?
Well, he was there. He came back from seeing his parents on January 24th, and I discovered the tree the 25th.
Okay.
But
So
the
let me...
Yeah.
Yes,
The
Ms.
thing
Demerin.
is, we cut the tree on January 29.
You did what on the 29th?
That's the time we cut it. That's the time we went to Home Depot. I have the receipt. We went to Home Depot to wet the chainsaw.
So it was on the 29th.
29 in
cut the
January.
trees.
Yes. We say, can we talk to the owner because we have an emergency. We don't want the tree to cause damage to fair. We want to cut the branches. And then he said, okay, no problem.
How long did it take you to cut down those trees in her backyard?
We went the chainsaw for like 2 hours. When we went the chainsaw,
They give you a
inside
time
me.
frame, yeah.
Yeah, and why didn't you just remove the branches that day?
The thing is, we couldn't remove the tree. It's a big tree, but we have to go back.
Okay. So you didn't ask him, can we also take the branches out of here? Which
No,
we've been doing.
no, we asked to cut it.
Miss Dillon, back to you. When you saw those branches in your backyard, why didn't you just go to the defendants and say, hey, did you cut these branches down and are you going to remove them?
I decided not to. I did not want to confront anyone, and I didn't want a confrontation. I never met them before. I don't know who is the owner.